All right, Brown Balls. We are back in the house. Kenny, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, bro. We're on to Dodger season now, man. Officially,
Yeah,
doing good,
yep,
doing
yep.
good. My Knickerbockers won. Go New York, go New York,
Yes,
go.
that is. I mean, again, what a win by the Knicks, winning it in five. I think many people had either 6 or 7 games. Knicks absolutely had a dominant series, in my opinion, winning in five. First championship in 53 years. I know it's your second favorite team behind the Lakers as a NBA fan. What are your thoughts? What was going through your mind?
Honestly, man, I'm a big Laker guy. I love Lakers. I love everything about Lakers. I love all the Laker players. But there are a few players that in the NBA that I have came and I became a huge fan of. Right, one guy is Dirk Nowitzki.
Mhm.
The way he won by himself. Another guy I truly admire is Jalen Brunson. Right, people don't get it, man. This guy is all about team. Who turned down $100 million just so he can build a championship team. Like he's all about winning, man. And again, yeah, New York is my second favorite team. The Knickerbockers are second favorite team of mine. I was so happy as we talked about it on Friday, man. I felt that it was best for them to close it out in San Antonio in Game 5 because the thing is this: the pressure was, you can tell the way Spurs played, right? That game, Game 5, they played with so much pressure. Every possession felt like it's either game winner or not,
Your
kind of thing,
guy, yeah.
And so Knicks played more relaxed, right? They had no pressure. But obviously, I told you, if Spurs somehow won that game, all the pressure will go back to New York. And I'm talking about even if it goes to Game 7, we'll go to New York too, because New York's are the ones who's going to blow that lead then, right? So I'm just glad that, the team didn't really show up. The team was also nervous, New York
Hmm.
Knicks. Jalen Brunson showed up, man. He showed up and showed out. Don't quote me on this, but at the halftime, I know New York was down by I think like five, or 5 or 3 or something like that. They brought it down. I think New York scored a total of about 50 something points at half. Right?
Hmm.
Brunson by himself had 20 something points. He had half
Yeah,
of the points of New York Knicks. I remember during fourth quarter, the score was like I want to say like 80 something, like around there or 70 something. And Brunson had 30, almost half of the points. So that showed that Brunson was playing as a leader and he was showing up like a leader. Man, this guy is just amazing, man. And like he knew that this is the game they were supposed to have and go take
yeah.
it because obviously you don't want Spurs to have life, man. And it's so crazy how this whole series, man. Like I read a stat in the first quarter of the all 5 games, New York is like minus 57.
Yeah,
That's unbelievable, man.
yeah,
Like they just don't show up.
yeah. The Spurs dominated most as far as points scored.
I was just impressed about how Brunson approached the Game 5, man.
Yeah,
I just loved it, man. And on the other hand, we talk about Wemby, right, as the next up and coming player, which he is. He's damn talented player, right? I think Stephen A. Smith put it the best that I don't know if you agree. I do agree with him that Jalen Brunson saved the NBA by not letting Wemby win this championship.
mm,
Because if that was the case, if Wemby somehow won this championship, I just felt that it was Spurs will start their new dynasty. Teams will try to build around their roster to beat Wemby, obviously. And I'm not saying they're not going to stop that, but you have a guy who is barely 6 foot beat Wemby, you know. So there's no, oh yeah, Wemby cannot be beaten in the finals. I mean, you're talking about Jalen Brunson, who's barely 6 feet tall, beat Wemby by himself, not by himself, but like the team had defense surrounded how to stop Wemby, and they did. And so I'm just glad that San Antonio got humbled. They're just waving too high about how they beat OKC. They thought that was their finals, right?
yeah,
And so and throughout the series, Peacock was having that NBC game. I don't know if you felt that, but once they kept on talking about it that whoever wins this series, we kind of talked about it too. Whoever wins this series will probably win the NBA Finals. It was kind of like the
yeah,
Rams in Seattle NFC
yeah,
Championship
yeah,
game. Whoever
yeah.
wins this game is gonna win the Super Bowl. And
Right.
I no one gave New York a chance, right? Nobody ever even gave New York a chance. And I want to credit you. This really reminded me of the 2004 NBA Finals when no one gave Detroit Pistons a chance. There was a Chauncey Billups who's just like Jalen Brunson, a clutch player, and they're all good players around him. Man, you talk about Rip Hamilton. You got Josh Hart in that case. You have Mikal Bridges. You have Tayshaun Prince on the other side, and then you had Ben Wallace, who's your Mitchell Robinson, right? And so it's very relatable, And Lakers were a heavy favorite, right? Yeah. I never seen a team so heavy favorite and not show up and lose in 5. And Lakers lost in 5 too, my man. You called it. They lost in 5 as well. They were shocked. And so it's fun. Ironically, it's funny. I think Lakers won game 2, and here they won game 3. I think that's it. So it's funny. And then so I mean that was my take, man. I'm so happy with New York, man. 53 years is great. What's your reaction to Game 5, man? I want to hear this.
Yeah, I mean, credit to the Knicks, man. Honestly, the game was the Spurs were, I think, were up by almost 15, I believe, or something like that in the first half. And Jalen Brunson went on his own run where he scored I think 8 or 9 straight points by himself and brought the team back within, I think, by down by 5 at the half, which was already crazy, right?
Right.
And I think once that happened, I was like, I think this is over. This is a sign that the Spurs give it their best shot, but the Knicks are just on another level at that point. I think a lot of the bad decisions from the game before, I think the coach for the Spurs did fix it. The whole Dylan Harper thing, how he didn't play in the fourth for the previous game and all that kind of stuff. He fixed all that. But end of the day, man, credit to the Knicks. Karl-Anthony Towns was in foul trouble in the first half. I think beginning of third quarter, he fouled right away within the first 20 seconds and had to go sit back out too. So I think the fact that they were able to make the comeback and win the game without their second best player, that is amazing with the fully healthy Spurs squad as well. And of course, dude, Jalen Brunson, by far the greatest Knick of our time. I think I saw the tweet or the meme that you were talking about last week where Melo's legacy is completely gone now. I think they also included the number 7 in the Olympics. LeBron wore that, all that kind of stuff. So his entire legacy is gone. Dude, I am happy for New York to win this championship because I think you and we talked about this. One of our biggest memories is that Larry Johnson 4-point play and them not being able to win at the end. This was an incredible run, not just this finals, but the entire playoffs, dude. The Knicks were on fire. I think after the only team that gave them the hardest time was the freaking Atlanta Hawks. It took them to game 6. That's the only team that actually gave the Knicks a hard time, which is crazy to me. Yeah, dude. Shout out to New York, man. That is a amazing team. Jalen Brunson, you cannot not be happy for the guy, right? He takes a team-friendly deal. Mikal Bridges was pretty much thrown out into the gutter at the beginning of the season. Now he's one of the superheroes. Anunoby, out of nowhere, becomes this very, very good defender / efficient player. Just the whole team came together, man. And New York absolutely a phenomenal job. And Spurs side, there's a lot of learning they have to do, man. They have to, if they want to be good, they're gonna have to grow up really, really fast over summer. I will say, and I know this was one of the things that we were talking about. I'm not shaking the hands at the end and walking off the court. That is an asshole. That is a very, very bad sportsmanship move. I would credit it to inexperience, but you don't need experience to show sportsmanship. Even rookies know. You have to shake a hand, take your losses. You lost in 5. It's not like you lost in 7. There was a controversial play at the end, whatever, and you're upset. No, you lost in 5. You got your ass kicked. You go over there. I mean, we gave Anthony Edwards a hard time for giving up with 10 minutes left in the game. At least he did that, them just walking off. That is a very classless move. I think they need to do a lot of maturing if they want to.
They came off very arrogant, man. Especially Wemby. I'll be honest with you, man. They came out Wemby.
He's a very sensitive player. Very, very sensitive.
In this type of business, you can be.
Yeah.
You're not gonna win all the finals, man. I'm sorry to say. That's LeBron. He's been in the league for 20-something years, and he's only won 4 championships. And he's been to 6 or 7, right? You're not gonna win all. And you're not every year. You're not gonna make the finals either. I mean, the whole team came out as sore losers, basically. Wemby had a quote after the game that we dominated the series, but we end up losing.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's not a thing.
Come on. I mean, in the end, that's fine. You're winning the whole series, but I mean, in the end, you choked and you give up the lead.
Exactly.
He should look himself in the mirror and become a better leader, become a better closer. There has to be a lot of growing pains. That team needs a veteran. And you know what's funny? I saw today, man. Who was it? I think it was in Fox Sports Net or I forgot where, or FS1. Actually, it's not called somewhere. Or Dan Patrick. I think it was a radio show. Someone brought it up. They're like they needed Chris Paul.
Yeah.
They needed a veteran. They needed a veteran out there. Like Biombo is Bisca Biombo is not. He's a good veteran center, but he's not a veteran, right?
Yeah.
Who's been in that deep playoff run. Chris Paul's available in January, man. All they could have just given him a minimum, bring him back. He played with them 2 years ago. He was there in Wemby's like second year, rookie year. He was there. I guarantee you, man, if Chris Paul was there, they wouldn't have blown that 29-point lead because he would have probably calmed the coach down, to be honest with you. He would have been like, guys, stop shooting, stop shooting through.
Right.
Let's do this. Like I would have imagined that they would have put Chris Paul in for a minute or two just to calm the situation down. Because in the end, Chris Paul is still Chris Paul. I mean, if he has a rock in his hand, he's gonna make good decisions. He's not like De'Aaron Fox gonna make turnovers, right? So it's just so crazy that it comes down to like small little decisions, right? And they could have even got him, and he was available, and that would have made.
I think they were hoping that De'Aaron Fox would be that guy, that veteran presence, because he is a veteran. But he himself had a very bad series, right? We talked about the misplay with that comeback loss. Last game he was 3 for 15, and 1 for 8 from the 3-point line. Like he just did not have it. Stephon Castle also struggled. I think he's also been up and down a lot this series as well.
Yeah.
He's a good defender, but like
he was 0 for 9 until the last 30 seconds. He made one field goal in the last 30 seconds. That's it.
Yeah, the only player I think that was consistently good was Dylan Harper, and probably I would say even Wemby didn't play up to his standard as far as what you expect Wemby to put up in this kind of games. But yeah, it was a very bad look, and I don't know if you saw in the presser what Wemby said as he was leaving. He said, "See y'all never," right?
That's so
stupid, to the core. I mean, again, I understand you're upset by the loss. I understand there's a lot of emotions happening, but you have to compose yourself better and not. It's some players have a good job. They do a good job of expressing their frustration. Some players don't, right? And the ones that don't, like Kobe, I remember you and I, watched him. There were series where he lost, and you can tell he's upset, but he's not going to say more than he needs to say. He's just going to be quiet and just be and not say anything more than he needs to do. Whereas like someone like LeBron can lose a series and he'd be like, oh, this would happen and it was frustrating, blah blah blah, right? There's some players that can do it, but Wemby, I think, just being like he sounded like a whiny kid essentially, right?
That little kid that he didn't get what he wanted,
Exactly. Like I didn't win a championship, like, well, you shouldn't have been out there celebrating like crazy. Again, I don't mind the celebration when they beat OKC, but you got to show the class when you do take your loss. And this is the kind of thing that hopefully he learns from and gets better. Again, his talent level is immense. This team is a very good team, built very strongly. But I think the Knicks were just a way better team in this playoff, which I'm surprised to say because on paper you would expect Spurs to be the better team, but the Knicks were significantly better.
I agree, man. I completely agree.
Did I lose you?
No, but no, I do agree with you, man. I mean, like, especially when he said that, appreciate you all, but never see you never. That's just such a sore loser kind of move. Media's just doing their job, bro. Like, I mean, another quote I did not like, man. I'm trying to find it for you. Is someone asked him, "What'd you guys learn?" He's like,
nice.
I want to find that exact quote he said. His quote was such a dickhead, man. He's like, I don't know what we learned, but we learned something.
Okay. Yeah, he's, and yeah, I know you and I talked about this in the last podcast about leadership and how he's not the real leader. And I think this is the kind of stuff you have to learn how to do. I was just thinking in my head, right? You know which player would actually fit this Spurs team really well?
LeBron. LeBron.
Right? You got Castle, who's a good defender, can create his own shot.
Mhm.
You got Dylan Harper off the bench.
They'll never do
All
that
you
though.
need to get rid of is and Champagne. You can come off the bench. LeBron can start and he can dictate the ball. He's a veteran. He makes right decisions. All that stuff. Wemby can learn from LeBron. I think that would make a lot of sense for what LeBron would want to do, right? And obviously, I just don't know if he would like to play in San Antonio. But I think in terms of team and how effective he can be and how much of like the chance of him winning a championship in that team will be significantly higher than Cleveland, in my opinion, right? Or wherever. Well, I mean, even the Lakers, I wouldn't give him a chance for next year if he was to resign. But Spurs would be a good destination for him.
I was going the same way too. I was going to ask you the same question, and you took it out of my mouth. But I have a
Yeah,
different player. I said Draymond would be perfect
Draymond. I mean,
because Draymond. So
as long as he didn't slap somebody, we're good.
see, Draymond is perfect for this team because he brings that toughness. He'll
Hmm.
bring that leadership that they're lacking, right?
Hmm.
And he'll bring also a mentorship that definitely lacking on Wemby, right?
Yeah,
As a role model, like how you become a professional athlete, And Draymond is the type of they'll bring him and they'll give him another facilitator, right? Because Draymond is also a guy who can
and
also
defender.
a really good defender, right? And show him the ways, right? And again, the reason why I said with Draymond is because Wemby, what I tell you, man, he loves playing outside to shoot 3 pointers, right?
I
Draymond
just
is Draymond's down there all the time, right? So it's like he'll be a perfect player for complimenting him. And
yeah.
so, but yeah, LeBron will be perfect too. I just think that Spurs will regret not winning this finals. Why do I say that? It's because okay, every year is not guaranteed.
Yeah.
And like I always go back to Phil Jackson. When they asked him, how do you win? What makes you win this many finals? And he said you gotta have three things on your side. You gotta have the best player, which they do.
Hmm.
You gotta have health,
Hmm.
right? And the
And
third
luck.
thing is you gotta have luck,
Yeah.
right? And if you don't have that, you're not gonna
And look
make
at
it.
OKC. They didn't have the second best player the whole playoffs essentially.
That's what I'm saying. They're gonna regret not winning this. And thinking this, they think about this, dude. San Antonio, if you look at it, if they would have won this finals, two things could have two things would have been like the outcome of it, right? One is Wemby gets his first championship, and there's no pressure for him going forward. So that means he'll probably win multiple championships, right? Now, since losing the first one, every year pressure is going to gain on him, saying that he
Yeah.
hasn't. He regrets
Right.
whenever he doesn't make the finals, he regrets. Right,
Right.
and he's not winning the finals. Kind of like that. It's kind of like what Kevin Durant did when he made it second year. He never made it again with OKC. Kind of
Right.
like that, right? And the second thing is this, man. People don't realize, but San Antonio is gonna regret this the most is they dodged a bullet against Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened against Minnesota, but they choked. They should have won that series with no Ant Man in there. I mean, they should have won that series. They should have, think about it. They could have faced, San Antonio, but San Antonio ended up facing Minnesota, right? So they dodged a bullet there in the second round, right? I think. And then in the third round, like you said, the second best player wasn't there, right? Williams for OKC. So it was only Shy and other people, right? And they ended up winning that series too. So they got lucky with all that. If Denver was there with Jokic, it would be hard. And then if Williams was there, Jalen Williams was there with OKC, it would have been harder to get to the finals, right? They had an
Yeah.
easy path to the finals this year, and they did, and they made the finals. But they got beat. So I mean, I'm shocked. Like wow.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think this was probably the best case scenario for the Spurs. I think them having to avoid Denver was huge. Obviously, beating OKC in itself is awesome, but like OKC didn't have the second best player, and Denver losing. I think their path was slightly less challenging. I think than it would have been if OKC was fully healthy and if they did end up facing the Denver Nuggets. And I think their lack of experience and lack of I think that there's also a lot of coaching issues that showed up in the Knicks series around the rotation players and I'm huge on Dylan Harper and I think a lot of the analysts also said like why is he not out there for the fourth quarter, like why is he only playing 1 minute in fourth quarter, like he is the only person that can get to his spot. He doesn't shoot too many 3 pointers. He drives to the ball, like he needs to be out there versus championing whatever, right, or Vessel. But I think that is also a learning experience. So I think that in my opinion, I think the Spurs are just going to get better, but
They
they're going to
will.
have to get better mentally. I think they have a team with the talent to win a championship, but their mental game is not quite there yet. And I think that takes a lot of maturity and that takes a lot of time to build, especially Wemby. I think Wemby's got to figure out like, do I want to be a Joel Embiid in this league or do I want to be a Nikola Jokic in this league? Like, Nikola Jokic is a good 3-point shooter, but he's not always there. He's down low in the post, getting easy 2 points. He's like Giannis is out there in the post in the 2 points. It's not Joel Embiid who's just going to settle for 3-pointer every single game because it's easy, right? That's not who he should be looking at because who has won championships? Giannis and Jokic, and who has not passed the second round, Joel Embiid. So I think he needs to like learn that idea. And again, this was a very shocking series for me because again, I predicted Spurs will definitely win game 5, and we could go to game 6 and Knicks will probably close it out then. But you're right, it was a smart move for the Knicks to close it out in San Antonio, and also just for New York City because even though they won in the road, that city was trashed. Like New York City got trashed afterward. You
What
saw
does
all
that
the
matter?
stuff
Just
happening.
kill him,
People
man.
got stabbed and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, just kill him when you can. Just end the series.
Yeah,
When you get a
end the
chance,
series,
you don't want to give anyone a like breathing room in that case. Also, you know what this series also showed me, man. Speaking from Lakers' point of view, I hate the fact that people say depth does not matter. It does matter. Name me in San Antonio besides Vessel, Castle, Fox, Harper, and Wemby. They have no bench.
Yeah,
They have no bench.
yeah.
Look at New York. Alvarado, Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy, the small forward, I forgot his name. I'm blinking on him. He's a 3-point shooter too. They played him a lot.
Brunson came in a few times. Yeah,
Yeah, and like I'm just saying, like there's people coming in for them. They went at one point. They went like 9 deep. All right. San Antonio tried to go 8 deep is hard for them, And what happened to the 6 man of the year? And that was a robbery. That 6 man of the year. That guy is not that good. He was just opening shots because of Wemby was there. Yeah, So
right.
Kendall Johnson, whatever his name is, come on. How many average? You're a 6 man of the year and you barely averaging like 5 points, like 2 points. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know what 6 man means? You bring the energy and score that ball, man. You don't show up with 2 points or 5 points. I mean, so where was the 6 man of the year? So San Antonio, the one thing that New York exploded is that they didn't have bench. They didn't have depth. And this is the thing. Every time Wemby went out, New York made their run every time. It's kind of like it reminds me of the Lakers when LeBron went, when LeBron AD played with us and LeBron went out and boom, he goes down. So Spurs needs to build a better team. They need to bring in another big man who can actually not play like Wemby, obviously, but like keep the lead, and be there, like how New York did with Mitchell, Mitchell Robinson. So, but yeah, man, this is
a good veteran presence. I think an experienced veteran who knows what they're doing. Not a role player veteran, but a former star veteran. I think that'll be very, very good.
And that's huge. You need that, man. And so, but
let me ask you a question. Yeah. Obviously, we know the Knicks won the championship.
Mm-hmm.
Does this surprise you at all? Where do you think, or who do you think are the favorites for 2027 NBA champs? What do you think is number one?
It has to be OKC.
Nope, it's not OKC.
Don't tell me it's the Spurs.
Spurs number one, OKC number two, Celtics number three, and then you have the Knicks at number four. Does it surprise you at all that the champion that also just overwhelmingly beat everyone is number 4 favorite after winning this championship? Yeah,
because there's no respect for New York, right? New York also, people are also saying the same thing what we said about San Antonio, right? The map they had to get to the finals was pretty easy after Atlanta because Philly did a favor by coming back from Boston 3-1, right?
Boston, yeah.
Because think about it, because
but they beat Boston. I mean, Knicks beat Boston the year before.
But again, we wouldn't have known if Tatum didn't tear his Achilles in Game 6. That was gonna go to Game 7 probably, most likely, because they're playing in Boston at that time, and so they could have went to games. I don't know what, I think it was Game 5 or Game 6, whatever it was. But again, Boston was surging too, man. So I do get it because they had an easy run there, Besides facing the San Antonio Spurs, I mean Atlanta, I thought that's the toughest team they played. But then after that, the way they smacked Philadelphia, Cleveland was a shocker. 4-0, that was like shock, dude. What the hell, But I wouldn't see. This is the thing. I don't know about man. I wouldn't put San Antonio number one. I like the ranking, but I wouldn't put. I would. This is the way I would do it.
I would have thought Thunder were number one.
Yeah, OKC, man. I mean, and then I still would have put Boston, because
You still think Boston's would be ahead of the Knicks?
oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah.
It's tough because like Boston won that one championship, but ever since then, that was what 3 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Like they've been the favorite in the East every single season, but they don't make it past the second round. Like,
I
I
know,
don't
man.
understand why they get so much hype year over year.
Because they have that two-headed monster with Tatum and Jalen Brown.
Yeah, but even when healthy, they couldn't even like get it. Like
Yeah.
I understand they are a very good team, just like the Knicks are, and they have like, two superstars, not just one superstar.
They're just like New York. They have so many good role players, man.
Yeah,
That throw at you with that
and a good
Derek
coach.
White, Pritchard. They have a few other players I can't name off the top of my head, but they have those headed monsters coming at you, man. And like, it's just, I mean, look, New York is still, has better odds, top four, But again, I don't think New York is repeating. To be honest with you, it was it was a Dallas kind of run, like what they're happy 1 year wonder kind of thing. But yeah, man. I mean, I'm surprised San Antonio is number one. I mean,
yeah.
they definitely showed. I'll tell you right now, man. Spurs wouldn't have won this if Jalen Williams was playing. Man. I'll be honest with you. They wouldn't have won the finals. I'm telling you, man.
I agree with
OKC
that.
was too good. And it's plus it took him game 7 too. And honestly, if William was there, that would have gave some offense, took off offense for a shy. So, I mean, I still think OKC is a better team, and I don't know about San Antonio, man. They got to do something. I mean, I want to ask you next question. What do you do with De'Aaron Fox, or how Charles Barkley says DeAndre Fox?
I would try to get him out, dude. I think for what they were expecting from him, they didn't get. It's one thing to have a talented player that you can expect a number of points. I think the fact that he made poor decisions, he didn't bring the leadership I think that they were hoping to. Those are two areas where I think that he failed them. Not necessarily in the lack of production and points. I think that could have been overseen, whatever, right? But I think the fact that he didn't he didn't hold up his bargain as far as being a veteran leader, the troops down. Hey, we got especially that crazy comeback when the Knicks had, like, that's the kind of stuff that I think ruined what they were expecting from him. So they have to try to find a way to move him, and he's still a very good guard that anybody can use, and you can probably get a good big man or another good veteran player. So if I was a Spurs, I would try to move him this offseason.
Well, I mean, I would move him just because Dylan Harper needs to start.
Yeah, exactly, and that too. You can replace him easily
because you can't bring $230 million player off the bench. There's no way you can do that with Fox. So you have to move him just because Dylan Harper is not going to be coming off the bench anymore. I mean, yeah, he has value for some teams.
Yeah, he does.
And if I'm Detroit, again, who needs a second option, kind of like that, a guy who can create for himself, playing along with Cade, take some possessions off. De'Aaron would be perfect for that team. There's some teams out there that can use him.
Who would the Spurs want from that team, though?
I'll tell you exactly who they would want. Isaiah Stewart.
Isaiah Stewart for De'Aaron Fox is a wild trade. I mean, I get the enforcer, the rough defender. I get that.
We need that.
I would say Isaiah Stewart and maybe like a Tobias Harris. I think.
Yeah. You bring the veteran
leadership.
Exactly. I'll talk about that's what I mean. Like Isaiah Stewart plus another whatever. But I'm saying, if I'm the Spurs, that's a guy I would want back in return because that's the enforcer you want. A guy. Think about it. Think about when Wemby goes on to the bench, Isaiah Stewart comes in.
Yeah.
He's gonna get the rebounds. He'll do the hustle plays, man. And so that's what I would, it would be perfect. But Fox, this I've never seen a player play this bad in the finals, man.
Yeah, he had a decent playoff run before the finals, but the finals he was just very, very inefficient, very poor decision making. I think he ruined. I don't know how we talk about Jalen Duren ruining his entire career in a playoff. I think the same thing happened to Fox. I think he ruined his entire career.
I completely agree with you. Let me ask you another question.
Yep.
Wemby making the finals and losing it, or not making the finals at all, probably losing the Western Conference, would have been easier going forward for his career of winning a championship. If that makes any sense, what I just said to you.
So, what is it? Is it worse that he made the finals and lost it than it was if he would have just
Made the
bounced in the second
conference
in the
finals and
final?
conference finals or whatever second round, yeah, with pressure because now there is expectations, right?
Yeah,
And every year there's going to be pressure mounting on him to win the finals.
yeah,
It's kind of like LeBron James kind of thing. LeBron James made it like in a year or two or something, year or three or whatever, like young, very young. They beat the Detroit Pistons
hmm
and he made the finals. They lost. Remember, they lost against Spurs
hmm
4-0. And then
yeah,
after that, every year they had to be back where they were. Like
right,
that's what LeBron ended up leaving because he couldn't win it anymore. And
yeah,
that's why he went to Miami to go win a championship. So that's what I'm saying. That was worth that. That was really bad for LeBron making the finals because it made it so much pressure for him to make it again and again to win
right.
it. Because the West is hard. First of all, man,
Mhm.
it's not easy, man. I'm telling
Yeah.
you.
I think in my opinion, I think it's good that he made the final because there's also like some teams like the OKC Thunder where like if you just keep losing to them every single year, like if they would lost a final, they'd be like, okay, are we ever gonna get past this team? Are we ever gonna beat the Thunder? Is that even a possibility? I think that will linger in their head versus them knowing they've already beat the Thunder once and it can happen. I think that is that confidence because if you're a Lakers fan and we got our asses swept by the Thunder, we're gonna be like, are we ever gonna and that's my I always tell you every single year, dude, we're not gonna be a Thunder. That's not who we are. We're not gonna be Thunder. That's that like dark horse we just know we can never get over. I think the fact that Spurs beat them, I understand what you're saying, but as far as Wemby's legacy and how the expectations that fall on him, but at least he now knows he's been there and that he's beat the toughest team in NBA, which is the OKC Thunder. I think that will help his mentality more than if he would have just if he would have lost this year and let's say next year he lost again to the Thunder, to be like, I can never beat this team. It's like the chokehold that LeBron had in the East, but like no team like this the Pacers, even though on paper they're really really good, you just knew that they were never going to get past LeBron, and that was not a thing in the East. LeBron controlled the East for a very long time. That they avoided that in my opinion. They avoided that long term like mentality of like, dude, no matter how good we are, we're not going to beat LeBron James or Cavaliers or the Heat. It's not going to happen. So at least he beat the Thunder. That's what I can think as far as the team aspect.
Did they? But again, like I mean, yeah, they beat the Thunder, but did they really beat the Thunder?
Well, I know. I mean, yeah, minus the second best player,
That's a
obviously.
huge thing, though, right, man? That and went to Game 7 too. On top of that, right? It wasn't like Spurs took care of business. At one point, they're down in the series 3-2. They had to come all the way back
Yeah,
to force Game 7,
yeah,
right? Even without their second best player, they had to force to Game 7, right? It wasn't like yeah,
right.
San Antonio was always up in that series, 1-0, 2-1, 3-1, kind of like no, they were behind in OKC as well, right?
Yeah.
My only thing is this, right, man? I think this finals, people found out who Wemby is personality wise. That he's
hmm
trying to get that villain role, and I really hope that he doesn't. He's trying to get that villain role that like LeBron did in Miami. Like
Yeah.
you know what, screw you off. Like that, no, dude, don't go that way, man. Like people don't like villains. Like you don't be a villain because then like no one's gonna ever want you to win a finals first of all because there's gonna be like teams just like nah, we're good. He's not there.
Yeah.
He
You know,
should embrace it, man.
I honestly, I think the opposite. I think people viewed him going into the finals as like a Cinderella story. Oh, he's a good kid.
That's
He
what I'm saying.
meditates. He meditates in the park and all that kind of stuff. He does all these cool things, and then the way he took the loss, he became a whiny kid. Like, oh, like I didn't, again, I hate referencing it, but like Joel Embiid, like just whining about everything around him. That's how he came off, and I think that is like I don't know if it's a villain thing or if he's just overly sensitive about the loss, but like that's where I think it is like his what people thought of him being like a Steph Curry, like a good kid who's like really nice to people, and then all of a sudden now he's like just completely whining about everything and just saying see y'all never, all that kind of stuff. I think like that was a very big negative on his personality.
Or saying like when they're down 3-1 that we know we're coming back. He's
Yeah,
not.
exactly.
We know we're gonna win this series. We're
Yeah.
gonna come back. Like okay,
But I agree. If he is trying to go down a villain route, yeah, that's a bad route. You don't want to be a villain. If you want to be a face of the league, you have to be someone that people cheer for, that want you to win, like a Jalen Brunson, who like even though people may not like the Knicks and don't follow them, they like Jalen Brunson because he is a very hardworking player, undersized, and you talk about him being a relatable player to everyone else, which he is. So I think that is a kind of that could be a potential face to the league versus someone who's just kind of cocky and arrogant. I think that's a very bad look, and Wemby should not go down that path because Ant is like that, and nobody really accepts Ant as the face of the league by any means. He had a chance.
Remember because I told you we talked about it on Friday that I felt I didn't really think New York will lose the series, but I did give San Antonio a 40% chance to kind of come back because of Wemby. He fixed the game both sides.
Yeah.
The performance he had in Game 5 was terrible, man. I was so unimpressed with that, man. He only had 19 points. His shooting percentage was off. Like, I don't know what it was, like 7 for like 22 or something. I don't know what it was. Come on, man. It's a closeout game at home. Like, let's not, okay. Although, okay, I get it. You're not going to win the finals. I get it. You're down 3-1. But there has to be some type of proudness about your home court that, hey, I'm not going to have them celebrate here.
Yeah.
If they want to celebrate it, they can celebrate in New York. They can wait a few more days. We're gonna make sure we play well. And like I said, I was expecting more of like a 40-pointer, man, or 30 at least. I was expecting like 30, 17, and like 8 blocks. Like I was expecting that type of game from him. But he was not dominant at all. So I was like shocked, right? Another thing I want to allude to is that I don't think San Antonio will win finals for the next few years. I mean, Wemby will end up probably winning one soon in 5 years. But next few years, I don't think that's going to happen because the only thing everyone will talk about is a 29-point blow they did. They did. That's all they're going to talk about because it kind of stays with you for a while, man, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure.
And when it stays with you, like look at Falcons when they blew that 28-3 lead. They were never the same team. And I'm not saying that San Antonio is going to never going to win a finals with Wemby. As long as Wemby's there, they'll probably win one of these, But it's going to take time to recover because all everyone's going to talk about next year is how when playoff starts, they're like, well, last year they're the only team that blew this lead, 29-point lead, which is huge,
Yeah.
And so
it's going to haunt them for a while.
Yeah, so I do think that next year I don't think they win the finals for sure. I'll be shocked if they even do unless they get, incredibly mature and overcome everything. But it's gonna take them a while, man. And also, if I'm Mitch Johnson, this is why Redick and other coaches hire veteran coaches on their team. Mm-hmm. Mitch Johnson doesn't have a veteran assistant coach at all. Mm-hmm. And that would have helped him a lot in this finals because there's some stuff that he could have didn't see, and assistant coaches out there to kind of show that, hey, you should do this, you should do that,
Right.
And they had such a young team. And if you're Orlando, you just hired one of the assistants from San Antonio, and he was there who blew that lead. So good luck to Orlando. I mean, I'm sure he'll be a good coach, but you're getting a coach, who's young too. So hopefully they put him with a lot of veterans out there too. So if I miss Johnson, one thing I'll do is I'll go get a veteran head coach as my bench player, because Steve Kerr had that, when he was there. He had that one guy. I forgot his name.
Yeah, if you're a young coach, you got to have veterans around you. Just not only to help mitigate some of the bad beginnings that they may have. I think Redick learned that the hard way last year with all his coaching fiasco. And I think, yeah, I agree with it. I think him getting also more mature and learning how to properly set the lineup. Because I know the Spurs are a very traditional organization. They're kind of like the Steelers of the NBA, where like once they have a good coach, they stick to him for a while, right? And I think that's why they chose Mitch Johnson. So he's got to get better at his rotations, and I think maybe hiring.
I'll tell you, if he doesn't make it to the finals again next year, and like you said, they are the best odds to get back to the finals, he'll be on hot seats next year, the following year, man. I think he'll be gone.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think it depends on what it is, right? If there's an injury or two, if Wemby's not fully healthy, because Wemby has history of injuries.
Yeah.
Then they might be
I'm talking Wemby being healthy, and you don't. If Mitch Johnson does not win a championship within the next 2 to 3 years, or 2 years, I'll give it 2 years.
Maybe 2 years, yeah. We'll see, man. Again, crazy, incredible win by the Knicks, nonetheless. And yeah, I mean, now that we're on to obviously it's baseball time. We're going to be on to NFL pretty soon.
We have NFL, I mean NBA draft coming up next week, and Giannis news is heating up, my man. I don't know if you kept up with it, but there's so many rumors and speculation going around. Just to recap, Giannis, your take on this? There's one where he goes to Boston, one of the teams. Another one he goes to Miami, and the third one that came out today, rumor wise, is that maybe the Clippers.
Clippers.
Because Clippers got lucky this lottery, right? They got the fifth pick, and so that and with this draft, fifth pick is huge, huge. That's like basically having a top three pick because this draft 1 through 8 is really deep. And so I've heard where Clippers could facilitate a 3-team trade where they don't get Giannis, Giannis goes to Boston, but they end up getting Jalen Brown to the Clippers. I also saw where they can make a trade with Milwaukee and go get Giannis, but because that fifth pick is very, very valuable, this year. And so, I mean, what's your take about Giannis? I mean, dude, I think Giannis gets traded by. I want to say he gets traded by this weekend because if you're Milwaukee, you don't let him slip through past this draft because this is a draft that you want to have more picks if you can get more picks. So,
If they're going to rebuild, they have to get a good draft pick and
exactly.
for Giannis ahead of this draft.
And I do feel that teams that's been talked about, they all have lottery picks except for Boston.
Yeah.
Like Miami has a lottery pick, Clippers has lottery picks. So maybe Blazers they have a lottery pick, I think, or maybe not. I'm not sure. But like again, drafts on Thursday. If they could get another lottery pick, they can even try out more players to draft. So I do think Giannis gets moved this weekend the latest. I'll be shocked if it's Monday. I'll be shocked if our next podcast Giannis not traded. I'll be so shocked, which is Monday I'm talking about. Like I don't see Giannis being with Milwaukee past Sunday, to be honest with you. So
yeah, I think this is the golden opportunity, and I think for the Milwaukee Bucks themselves, the earlier they trade him, the better uh, better players they get back for him. Versus if they wait around, maybe close to the draft on some team will be like, okay, you're really desperate for a draft pick now. So, like give us more, whatever, So like at least if it's like a Myles Garrett thing where like as soon as it dropped, boom, he's traded. Like that makes more sense, I think, because they got to get ahead of it.
they have to.
Which team do you want to see in that? Because the big one was New York, obviously, and now I think he can't really join New York because that would be like the Kevin Durant move.
Yeah, they won't. They won't.
Which team would you want to see Giannis?
I mean, honestly, I would want to see Giannis in Boston.
Yeah.
Two reasons. One, I like Boston so much, and I want them to break Jalen Brown and Tatum apart so fast. I would love. That's why I want him to go to Houston because I'm telling you, dude, Giannis, he's not going to be a good fit anywhere besides Miami because Miami doesn't have a ball handler.
Miami makes sense. Yeah,
does not have a ball handler. Perfect fit for Giannis is Miami. They don't have a ball handler, and he could be that ball handler. If he goes to Boston, he'll ruin that chemistry because they have Tatum as a ball handler, they have Derek White as a ball handler, and you put Giannis in there. You saw what Giannis did with Dame. He could not even be playing well together with him because they both want to handle the ball, right? Giannis, he doesn't. He's like a Wemby. He wants to handle the ball. He needs to put his butt down there. He doesn't want to put it down there, man.
Right.
And he's not going to do that. He's going to ruin Boston. That's why I want him to go to Boston. But honestly, the ideal fit is Miami for him, And but I do hear that Miami is the leading candidate right now. But let's see what happens. But how about you?
Yeah, I think Miami makes a lot of sense for me or Cleveland.
Yeah,
I think because they can't rely on James Harden, right? And they have plenty of pieces to get to trade for Giannis. Not drafts obviously, but like I think they have other good role players that they can trade for Giannis. I think that makes a lot of sense because Donovan Mitchell is not necessarily a ball hog like some of the other teams are, right? So I think Giannis makes a lot of sense at Cleveland. But does Cleveland want to go into Giannis sweepstakes or do they want to wait for LeBron? Right?
Honestly, dude, I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you right now, if Giannis ends up with Cleveland, if Cleveland does a trade with Giannis, Milwaukee really wants Mobley. Like that's a young guy they want to build around. They really want him. If Cleveland could just like get over the fact that Mobley's not going to be their piece, like they can build around, they can because he's not, and go get Giannis. Like you said, if they put Giannis along with Mitchell, and Harden, they'll probably resign. Dude, that's a championship team overnight. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And so Giannis can do what he did with Milwaukee. He can be a ball handler there too, and like he has shooters, left and right. And so, but again, Cleveland doesn't want to trade Mobley, so that's where it's.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, it's kind of like Lakers wouldn't want to trade AD, but then you have someone like freaking Luca come up out of nowhere. Like, hey, hell yeah, we'll trade everyone for you. So maybe if Milwaukee gives them an honest thing, like, yo, we'll take Mobley if you want to take Giannis, I think they will actually consider it that point. Versus
Yeah,
if it was just whatever other player.
yeah,
I think
exactly,
that makes a lot of sense.
exactly, man. And
See,
so
I like Giannis. I want him to go to a team where he'll also succeed. I think he's a good player. He's a better version of Wemby because you know how Wemby is also very like a little like try hard at times. I think Giannis is the same way too, but I think he's much more mature than he is. So I like Giannis. I want him to succeed. Kind of like how I like Jokic.
yeah, no, I
Be
get it.
interesting though, dude.
But Giannis is the first shoe that's gonna drop. I will tell you that right now. Everyone's gonna wait until Giannis,
Yeah,
and
that'll
go
be
from there.
crazy. I can't. If it is this weekend, man, I cannot
It doesn't
imagine
make any
what's.
sense for Milwaukee to hold them on for no
Yeah, no, you're
reason,
right. You're
man.
right.
I'm telling you, the draft's on
It gotta be
Thursday.
done.
The
Yeah.
draft's on Thursday. If Milwaukee waits until after the draft, they're dumb. Like straight
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
because you can pick your own player you want because you're gonna get a lottery pick in return, and they
Right.
can package their pick plus another lottery pick to move up in the lottery.
Yeah.
And so I'll be so shocked if we're talking next week and Giannis is still with Milwaukee. I'll be so shocked,
Yeah.
man. I'm telling you, this has to be done, man, by at least Sunday or Monday. Something. They,
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense to hold him up. Everyone knows he's done. He's gone. I mean, I don't get it.
All right. Well, we will. I guess we'll wait. We'll wait until Monday. A week from now, we'll see if Giannis has been dealt. What other blockbuster moves happen in NBA? I mean, obviously, we'll get into some more of the NFL offseason, all that kind of
Exactly.
stuff next week as well. Until then, Brown Balls, we are out.